Wawa everyone, hope you've had a good month and you're well. Another quick update with some exciting news that I'll start with that Tanarong negotiators and Yorta Yorta Nations negotiators got together last week to continue boundary negotiations. Now, boundary negotiations with the Yorta Yorta Nations have been going on for a number of years, just to get to a point where both Tanarong and Yorta Yorta Nations are comfortable with a boundary between the two nations. And I'm very happy to say that as of last week, Tanarong negotiators, along with the Yorta Yorta Nations negotiators, came to a point of agreement in principle, and that both groups or both nations were comfortable and happy with the result. So what does that mean for Tanarong? That means that our next step is to form a full group meeting and provide the result to the full group to seek endorsement for that boundary. So the proposal for that will be to occur on the 29th or the 30th of June, and that is a Saturday or a Sunday. We're just firming up a location at the moment, though, therefore we haven't locked in whether it's the 29th or the 30th. However, by the time I've recorded this and the newsletter is published later this afternoon, we're hoping to have a venue and a date locked down. So please refer to the newsletter to ensure that you can confirm the date and the location of the authorisation meeting for that. Furthermore, what else will be occurring at that full group meeting is a settlement update. So our legal representation at First Nations Legal and Research are going to be coming up to provide a briefing to the full group as to the progress of our settlement. And I can provide a brief update without going into too much detail that there is going to be a delay to our settlement, which may mean it will extend upwards into next year prior to our settlement being registered. So to get an update and provide, I guess, a clearer picture, I would rely on our lawyers to provide you with an appropriate update. So I do encourage you to come along on either the Saturday the 29th of June or Sunday the 30th of June, just to make sure that you're well informed as to the progression of our settlement, and also to be there to consider the boundary negotiations and the proposed in principle agreement for the boundary between Tanarong and Yorta Yorta Nations. Next, I wanted to, I guess, stress to you all that it's really important that you register for the treaty election that is coming up not too far away. So for those who haven't been, I guess, able to be informed as yet, there is treaty legislation that passed last year which enabled traditional owners in Victoria to commence creating a framework, I guess, in partnership with the state government to, I guess, work out the rules for how a negotiation may happen between a traditional owner group and the state government. So there's some elections that are happening in July, which require all traditional owners and Aboriginal Victorians to vote for representatives to sit on an assembly. And the Assembly's task is to establish a framework in which the state government and traditional owners have an even playing field for negotiating treaty or treaties into the future. So it's really important that you take the time to register yourself and get yourself able to vote for who you would like to see sitting on that assembly. Again, there'll be more information in the newsletter, which I encourage you to read, and we will follow up again in the near future to provide further information to ensure that you're well versed on the treaty process and what you need to do to vote. Just a couple of quick dates that the registrations to enrol for the treaty election process commenced on the 10th of May. So this has already started. It was a very quick start, and it's going to continue all the way to the 21st of July. So what you would need to do by the 21st of July is to have enrolled and voted. So the cut-off date is the 21st of July, but I do encourage you to get in a bit earlier to ensure you've got the time to appropriately register and consider who you would like to vote for out of the candidates that put themselves up for election. So I guess that's the second part of it, that I would encourage anyone who feels as though that they may have some experience or some skills that they would like to bring to the Assembly themselves, then I would encourage them to consider nominating as a candidate for the Assembly election process as well. Furthermore, there is a guaranteed spot for a Tanarung representative to sit on the Assembly, and that is, I guess, a privilege that's afforded to recognised traditional owner groups. So what will occur there is that we, the organisation, will put through a candidacy process where any Tanarung member of the corporation who would like to be considered for the representative of Tanarung will have the opportunity to address some key selection criteria to enable the potential candidate to show their skills and attributes and what they would bring to, I guess, the Assembly, and also show that they've got the ability to represent Tanarung well, and that they understand the treaty process well enough to be able to inform the Assembly in a way that Tanarung would like that seeing done. So very soon you'll see some communications around a key selection criteria that needs to be addressed, and from that process there'll be an election to occur in the future. That hasn't been locked down as yet. We're trying to work out our timeline to appoint someone, but we'll be in contact in the near future just to clarify all that information as well. Finally, we've just got a couple more positions that are coming up for hiring at Tanarung. So we would encourage you to look at the newsletter, and there's some descriptions of the jobs that are coming up with Tanarung, and we'd love to see some Tanarung people apply. If you feel like you've got the experience or the desire to want to take on one of these roles, I do encourage you to consider applying. It'd be really good to see more Tanarung people applying for these roles, and as I said, I do encourage that. That's about it. I hope that information's been useful. Again, I do encourage you to look through the newsletter further, and until next time, have a good month. See you later.